everybody. This is a video about why voting is better than not voting. You do hear some odd phrases from people who don't vote. Some of these phrases are, it doesn't matter who you vote for, the government always gets in, or that they're all the same, all politicians are the same. It's important to understand here, democracy has never been presented as a system that offers the amount of diversity in candidates that many of us would like. Democracy simply means people's government, so that means the people get to choose who's in charge. The choice, however, is not unlimited. It is limited to people who want to run the country. Now, what we have to do there is ask ourselves why a person might want to run a country. And when we look at the list of reasons, you should give us a pretty good idea of the sort of range of candidates we could realistically expect to be able to choose from in a democracy. Russel whinging about how limited choice of candidates he has is equivalent to sort of shouting at the TV because your favourite football team is losing. Not least because he's not presenting any kind of solution to these problems that he's identified. He just seems to be expecting people to give him some kind of medal for noticing that there are problems in the world. No shit. I used to work with had a saying which was, don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions. Simply stating the fucking obvious is kind of pointless. Saying that we need a better system is pointless unless you have a system to propose. If you don't have a system to propose, you're jumping the gun by even opening your mouth on the subject. Simply going on about how there are problems, isn't really doing anyone any good. So, in conclusion, why voting is better than not voting? Some common complaints people make is that, well, the parties I support are too small, they're not going to get in, so I have to choose from a very small number of bigger parties, and I have to choose the one I hate the least, basically the one that's got the least terrible policies, when I want to be voting for the one that has the best policies. Now, I was a big fan. I would really have liked to for this country to get instant runoff voting. I voted yes on the AV. I was more than a bit disappointed that I was in a minority there, because I knew that it wasn't necessarily going to be the AV that won, but it would have been nice to have seen it being a bit more popular. It would have at least shown us a positive trend about the attitudes of people in the country. But sadly, I mean, the no to the AV won by an absolute landslide, which was a bit disappointing for me. It was disheartening. And the reason I would have liked that is obvious. It would have given us a lot more range of people to choose from. We would have had a lot more options for who we could vote for. But even with that in mind, why it is still better to vote than not vote? What if the party you want to vote for doesn't stand a chance of getting in? Well, you could do what a lot of people I think are going to do. People who are not happy with the coalition at the moment is simply vote Labour. That's what they're going to do. If you are happy with the coalition, then I guess you're just going to vote Tory. But if you're not happy with the coalition, voting Labour is probably the best option, even if you're not entirely happy with how New Labour functioned. For a start, this is a different administration, so we can't simply just judge all Labour administrations as being the same. We can't tar them all with the same brush. So we could view it as being the lesser of three evils, I suppose. But what if you really want to vote for a smaller fringe party? Well, here's the thing. The fact that they won't get in doesn't necessarily mean it's not worth voting for them. For example, if you look at any policies which are quite popular right now, such as support of gay rights or support of the environment, those at once upon a time were only really the concern of what would be considered hard left parties. Most of the mainstream parties just didn't care about those issues, or if they did, they were on the wrong side of them. They were on the very sort of homophobic side or very anti-environmentalism side. As we've noticed, though, over time, all those major three parties now do have policies on those issues, and most of them are actually quite positive. What's notable is that gay marriage has been legalised by our current Conservative government, which seems a bit odd on the surface of it, because gay rights are not something that Conservatives are generally known for being supportive of. So why has this changed? Well, when you notice that a lot of smaller fringe parties are getting more votes, you notice that the policies they have must be quite popular. Those policies are becoming popular. If a policy such as care about the environment is becoming more and more popular, mainstream parties have to take note of that and start addressing these issues rather than ignoring them. If no one's voting for these parties, mainstream parties don't change. They can say, great, we can get lazy. We don't need to start addressing these issues because no one cares about them. But if they notice an increase in votes for, say, a party like the Green Party, they have to acknowledge then that the Green Party is becoming more popular because the policies that it has are popular, the issues it's addressing are important, and they realise that they have to address them as well. It's no surprise, therefore, that things like environmental concerns are now being addressed by mainstream parties. It's no surprise that things like gay rights are being addressed by the mainstream parties, even to such an extent that the Tory party has actually been the party to legalise gay marriage in England and Wales. So I hope that is food for thought for some people as to why voting is better than not voting. Phrases just like, it doesn't matter who you vote for, the government gets in, or just saying that they're all the same, or they're all these parties are the same, it's just lazy-mindedness, you know. Actually start having a look at the policies, start thinking about what kind of country you'd want to live in, and start putting some effort in. Goodbye.